Welcome back. This is Kent Beck with the third of 3 episodes as an introduction to TCR, the test, commit, revert programming workflow. And I just noticed over here in my overview that I've got an error down someplace in my code. Let me go look at that. I like to keep things clean, and missing parentheses. Oh, okay. So this must be, there we go. Best to just always have everything working smoothly. Let's see. Oh, I have some test errors here. So it wants me to define def length self raise exception should have been overridden. There, that should satisfy for the moment. There we go. Okay, so I love designing software. This is the for me, this is the payoff episode where I have some software and now I can design it. So I'm delighted to be bringing this to you. Let's start with len. And the way this works in Python is len is a global function, and if the object that's the parameter to len implements under len then the function works just fine. So we need to replace all these places that we've implemented length with under len and then we can, instead of calling dot length, we can call the global len. Yeah. So this is what we want this to look like. Clearly been writing too much prose lately. We want it to look like this, and this is not going to work. Yeah. This is the beauty of TCR. You say, oh, this code doesn't work. Okay, now it does. For somebody like me that tends to have a fair amount of anxiety around programming, it really is just wonderful. So, Python magic, len under self return self.length. This is the easiest implementation. We'll inline this implementation in a second. Let's see. Now, what order do I want to do it in? So here's what I'm thinking. I can. Do I put this could be up in rope. Do I put this up here? Change all the collars of length. And then implement under len under in the 3 subclasses. That's one order that I could do this. Or do I implement len natively in the 3 subclasses and then change the collars? I think I'm going to do this. Now this is really just inlining this function. And why I can't just do that, don't get me started with refactoring tools. This is 20-year-old technology, and there is no excuse that this is not easy today, but it's not. So there you go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to define under len under in all 3 subclasses. I'm going to inline the implementations, and then I'm going to call it. Okay, and then I can delete the lengths after I've done that. def under len. You really do get the chance to play with the order in which you do things. I think that's something I'm continually discovering, new variants of the order in which I do things. Now, because this is a fairly mechanical transformation, I'm not going to worry about, let's see, I shouldn't talk and program at the same time. I'm putting myself a little at risk here. I can say this and do this. And now I have 3 pieces of code that I don't have tested, and the first time I call it, now this is what we were shooting for all along. First time I call it, yeah, it worked. I thought it would, but yeah. I'm not sure this is the. Try this out yourself. Try it out with different variants. Now let's see if length open. Okay, so open parent. There we go. Good. I caught it. So are we calling length any place besides within length? Yes, here we are. And I can, right? And I can save even halfway through this. I don't have to finish my operation. That's a TCR twitch. You'll find yourself doing things in a different order than you ordinarily would, just so that you can save halfway through, which could be seen as kind of a weakness, but I don't mind it in the end. Okay, and this looks like this. That should pass. And this should pass. Now, when you're actually doing TCR, you're going to have lots more code disappearing than this. And when I practiced this yesterday, I certainly did. But one of the things about TCR is there's a certain sense of detachment from written code. Okay, I got this code and it's written, but that doesn't make it valuable for all time. If it doesn't work, just delete it. If it does work, it sticks around. So now we do it here too. Should have been overridden. And now all these definitions of length, since length isn't called anywhere, we can just delete them. We can delete them all at once and risk all this editing. And if that doesn't work, then they're all going to come popping back and we're going to be in trouble. But they don't, of course, because we checked. Okay, so that's the length function. Let's look at concatenation. So the way, if we want a plus operator for rope, we need to define under, add under, which takes the self and the add end. That's the official name for the second parameter to the add operator. I had to check Wikipedia. It's okay. Then I can return. I have been writing too much. Well, not too much. Self and right. There we go. No, not substring. Wow. Okay. Get my head in the game. Here we go. Concatenate. We're doing add. We're not doing the indexing one is even funner, so that's why I'm just jumping to that. There we go. And now, if I look at all the places we use concatenate, I can just say plus instead. And that should pass. And left plus rope plus right. That should pass. They're the same. So replacing one with the next. And if I find concatenate, replace this. That should work. And likewise here. And now I can delete this implementation of concatenate. No, I can't. Oh, here's where I want those line numbers. Let me. Oh, duh. I just called it. I need to inline it, and here's how I inline it. Except I need to rename this add end. And now I can delete this. Now, substring. What I want to write is something that looks like the two rope, oops, A, B, C, D, E, something like Python's array notation, 1:3. And if I just execute that, it's going to disappear. Shocking, but it'll tell me something. Tell me that I need to have something called getItem. So let's come up here and we'll implement. The order of these is bugging me, so I'm just going to note that I reorder rope. There we go. Now I don't have to worry about it because I'll fix that later. Under get item, under self. Now there's some parameters. What does the parameter to get item look like? Print param. I'm a little surprised that that I haven't come across this. I do a fair amount of like print line. It's not exactly debugging. It's more like discovery. Hey, what's the situation like when I call get item? So here, when I say to rope ABC bracket 1:3, what does that thing look like? And we'll see over here. It's a slice, and so what does this slice look like? Slices have a start and a stop. And I happen to know that. So if we were really doing this, if I hadn't just practiced, I would go and look further into this. So this guy is a slice. So I can rename that. Here, I want to return self.substring slice.start and the length is slice dot stop minus slice dot start. So down here I can print this out. I just don't feel like putting these parentheses around that anyway. So here we have BC. So this is, I can change this into an equals, or I can just change this guy. If I change this to 1:4, I should get BCD. Yeah, it should work. Yep, and lo and behold, it does. I can get rid of some prints now. That works. Now, all the places that I call substring, I can replace with this slice notation. Now, my choice of start and length is biting me because it should be start and stop. And here we have a second. Okay, so this should work, but eventually I want to get to 1, and the stop should be 2, I think. Oh, we're about to see. Yep. Okay. And here's another call to substring. Uh, 1:4. And any place else that we're calling substring. We can replace now with array notation. So this is 0, start. Oh, nope, did something wrong. Oh, self undo. Here we go. I got confused. 0, start. No. Tuple. Oh, comma. And if you it's the we want the slice notation, not a comma. So the mistake I was making, just to be clear, is I had 0, start, which passes apparently a different parameter to get item. I wanted this. So let's see. Anyway, I'm just going to plow ahead here. Okay. So same goes here. And this is in this transformation, we say start plus length plus len minus start minus length. So I'm just going to, now it's not obvious that that's correct, so let's just try it. Yeah. And insert, we say 0, start. And that works. And start len. And that works. And This is the only the only caller of substring. So now we can inline this. Yeah, I'm overthinking it. I need to just, let me copy this here. I'm going to paste it down here. Comment this out just for a second. Substring start is slice.start. Length is slice dots. Let's see. Yeah, stop thinking. You know, there are. I tell people this all the time. There are times when you should just go into tree transformation mode. Don't think about what you're doing. If you have a tree transformation, you're confident in that. Like this is one of those where I just replaced the formal parameters here with the actual parameters down here, and that's just going to work. Don't think about it beyond once you're convinced that things work, and then get feedback, because you might be right, you might not be. Oh, I left. Yep, there we go. So that gives us those two things. And we have a little bit more we can do. It's so pretty how these are just turning out to be little tiny subclasses, and yet they do so much. How about being able to index into, I want to say 2-rope, A, B, C, D, E. I want to grab element number 3, and that should be a D. If I try that, though, I'm going to find out that I have in get item, I have an integer as a parameter. So here in get item, this is not necessarily a slice. So let's rename this as an index, since it might be more complicated than that. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Okay. So now, now I may have to type of index. Pass. Yeah. And now, if I try that same thing down here, 2-rope, A, B, C, D, E, item number, the 4th item, nope, and object has no attribute start. Oh, pass, that should be a return. Anyway, so I think we got here, but let's just confirm that. Print here, return. And now I can say 2-rope. This is where TCR gets a little bit annoying. Is okay. I have several mistaken assumptions. Okay, so we got there. I had several mistaken assumptions, so I have to type the code 3 times. But you know what? If I don't know enough to be typing the code, then yeah, maybe I should I don't mind the negative feedback of having to type it multiple times. All right. So here, I want to be able to say get. I want something like get item, but it's get a single item. So I got here self dot under get single item. I don't know if this is how Python would generally spell it. Index. And now, if I have a regular rope, def under get single item self index. Here I'm just going to return D, whatever. And now down here, I can print this out. Yeah, I'll print it first. Yeah, it is a D. Then I can equals it. And that all passes. Good. Now I have this type error. So let's do def under get single item self index raise exception should have been over. I'm guessing there's a more Pythonic way to do this, but that's okay. Now I want to implement get single item for all the subclasses. But first, let's make this this into a real implementation. Self.string sub index should be the same. Indexing in the string should be fast. Okay, so let's do it. Test driven a little bit. Plus 2 rope DE sub 3. So that should be the same. Now this is going to fail because we have a concatenation. Def under get single item self index return D just for the moment. Now here we have an interesting, we have we're going to have to put some case logic in here. We're going to have to put a conditional here because it depends on which side, is it in the left rope or the right rope. So for the moment, I want to say right sub index minus. Oh, okay. Let me start this over. I'm taking a bunch of steps all at once here. Okay, so back up. So I'm going to assume for the moment that it's in the right side of the rope. And I'm going to say self.right sub index minus len self.left. And this should still work. Okay. But what happens now? What happens if our character is in the left side? 2 should be C. So here in concatenation, I'm going to say if index is less than len, the length of self dot left, then I want to return a C, and then else return. I think this is going to pass. No, it won't. Because Python. Because my understanding of Python. Yes, if index less than len self dot left, return C, else colon. There we go. I got it. Now this will pass. Definitely pass. Okay. And what I really mean here is self dot left sub index. Okay. So that's that. And now a substring. We're going to have something kind of like this. I want to go 0 to stop at 3, sub 3, that should be equal to D. No, 0 stop at 4. There we go. And now I need to define get single item for substrings. And let's just return a D for the moment. No. Indentation error. Def. All right. Get single item self index. Return D. And now I can write the test for it. And that should pass. Yes. Okay, and now I can make this real. Because here I am in a substring. I want to say self.rope sub index plus start. So here I am in a substring. No, that wasn't it. Self.start. Self.rope sub self index plus self.start. There we go. And now I have up in the to-dos, I'm done. Except for reordering the rope. So just before I leave you now, I'm going to do a little bit of tidying, where delete and insert are the important API operations. So I'm going to move them up to the top. That's where readers are going to go look. And then I have add, get item, and then a couple of things that need to be overridden, lengthen single item. Here we have stir, lengthen single item, stir, lengthen single item, stir, lengthened single item. And we have our little testing framework. We can extract out the tests and move them to someplace more official and so on. But there you have it. I'll save that. Just always save stuff. There you have it. A quick example of how to do TCR, test commit revert, this cool rope data structure, and a little bit of interesting stuff about Python. So thank you very much for your time and attention. I hope you'll give TCR a try. Whether you use it in production or not, just the exercise in working in teensy tiny steps and always seeking feedback instead of necessarily seeking progress, I think will be a useful exercise. It has certainly reinvigorated my love of and fascination with programming. So thank you again. Bye-bye.